Good evening. Bruce Gas over here with you on YouTube. I'm over here with a legend tonight. Yeah, Reggie, I can hear you now, brother. Wait a minute. Uh-oh, wait a minute. We got a little feedback. We should be doing okay right now. We should be doing okay right now. Reggie, can you hear me at all, brother? We should be doing okay right now.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me at all, brother?
Yes, I can hear you.
Reggie, unfortunately, I got a lot of feedback. Do you have another window open? Reggie, unfortunately, I got a lot of. Okay, I think we're better now. Are you there, my brother? Oh no, now you're frozen up. I'm here with Reggie Johnson, and we're having a little technical problems over here, but I got it. I think I got it straightened out on my side. Reggie, oh, here we go. Reggie's here now.
Okay, now, oh man, I can hear you nice and clear now.
Yes, I do, brother. I think we're styling and profiling.
Okay, we rolling now. That's it. Okay.
All right. Yeah, man. Bruce Gas here on Tuesday night fights, and I got the former middleweight champion, the former light heavyweight champion, a guy that I watched throughout the 90s, the early 2000s. Man, you got a legend we're listening to over here. This is Reggie Sweet Johnson, man. I want to introduce Reggie Sweet Johnson. How are you, my brother?
Hey, I'm doing fine, man, and thank you for sharing your platform with me. And I'm not only a former world champion boxer. I'm a great fan. Boxing has been my life, you know, and it changed my life. Well, I never got in the real trouble as a young kid, but it steered my life to becoming a straight up man.
How did you get into boxing, Reggie?
Well, at the age of 12, my late uncle, Kenneth Iron Man Walker, who was also a great amateur fighter, later in his career, I think he was like 40 years old. He had like about 4 or 5 pro fights, but it was him who took me to the Salvation Army Boys Club here in Houston, Texas, and introduced me to the late Mr. James Carter, who became my boxing coach, father figure, and a mentor, the late Mr. James Carter. So I started at the age of 12.
Now, Houston, you got a lot of champions that came out of Houston. Now, tell me, were you really the first world champion out of Houston?
Well, I wasn't only. This is something that I just found out. I wasn't only the first boxing world champion. I was the first champion from Houston, period, because the Houston Rockets didn't win it till I think 94, 95, and I won it in 1992.
How cool is that, bro? Everybody says George Foreman was, but George was from Marshall, Texas. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. He's originally from Marshall, Texas, but George Foreman, who did move to Houston, I think he was 13 or 14 or something like that, and him and my dad came up together in Fifth Ward, Houston, Texas. And most people, you mentioned Houston, they know about Fifth Ward. It was like the Bronx of New York. So.
Hey, I want to shout out everybody that came in here, because we got a few of your fans who came in. I want to acknowledge them for coming in here, man, because if it wasn't for them, it'd be just me and you talking up here, brother. So I want to shout out to Mr. Pads, who came in here. I want to shout out to MP, what the fuck? He came in to see us tonight, man. Tupac 13 is in here. We got Dick Justice in here from Croatia. We got Get This Smoke in here. We got my Australian brother, Carl Dundee. We got Emmanuel Briggs in here. We got the Skywalker from Arizona. The guy who washes windows 60 stories up. We got some good boxing heads in here, my brother. We definitely do, man.
And you know what, man? Boxing is the ultimate sport, the first sport that started with bare knuckles. And there's no greater followers or no greater fans than boxing fans. I love and have nothing but the deep respect for the boxing fans, because at the end of the day, like I tell them, even we're dealing with the promoters, at the end of the day, the boxing fans are the one who really write our checks.
That's true, my brother. That's true. Now, let's get back to your career. What was it? When did you really get that realization that you were going to become a world champion? I mean, because there's a lot of boxers out there, but there are not too many world champions, bro.
Well, sometimes when someone tell you something, you gotta listen. I played just about all the sports: wrestling, baseball, football. And when my uncle, like I told you, Kenneth Iron Man Walker, took me to the Salvation Army Boys Club, introduced me to the late Mr. James Carter, who became my father figure boxing coach and mentor. I remember the first day they put me in there with a kid who had like 30-some amateur fights. And I know at the end of that thing, when they was taking the gloves off and taking the headgear off, Mr. Carter told me something that I grabbed, and I held on to it. He said, "Young man, this is crazy." He said, "You know what? You can become champion of the world." He told me that at 12 years old, the first day I put gloves on and sparred with a kid who had like 30-some amateur fights. And I took that and I held on to it, and I pursued it.
Did you ever get any time where you got real discouraged?
Well, no, this is the craziest thing, because my first amateur fight when I was 12 years old, I got disqualified for slapping. That's when they had the white at the end of the gloves where you had to turn the gloves over.
Yeah.
And then after that fight, I lost my next 3 fights that went the distance. I never been beat up, stopped, or knocked out, amateur or pro. But when I won that 5th fight, the next time I lost an amateur fight, it was in the finals of the JO Nationals. And I had like about 30-some fights then.
Now, how far did you go in the Olympic trials?
Well, I lost to Frank Tate, the guy who won the gold medal. Yeah, so yeah.
Now that's a fellow Texas brother, isn't it, Frank Tate?
Well, he's originally from Detroit, but he did move and sign with some people that's right here in Houston. The people that I was with before they even signed him, I was with them when I was 15 years old. But when they signed him, Mr. Carter went and found another group of people for me to sign with, and because his thing was, you guys fought as amateur. That all the attention is going to be on him. He won the gold medal, and one day you're going to fight him in a pro fight. Even though we never fought in a professional thing, but Mr. Carter did what was in my best interest, because at the age of 17, with my mother signing my contract to turn pro, wow, think about it. I got $250,000 deal at the age of 17, which was perfect timing, because later I found out I had a kid on the way, so I was able to man up and take care of all that.
Boxing tends to be beautiful like that.
Yes.
It really does, man. Now I want to ask you. You went to you fought Jorge Castro twice, and they were razor thin decisions. And you had to go to Argentina for those fights. Did that sour you on boxing at all, losing those 2 fights?
Well, of course I was upset, because I know that those 2 fights, and to be honest with you, it was 3 fights in Argentina. I fought John David Jackson when I lost my middleweight world title to him, a fight that I thought I won, but he did a deal to go back and fight Castro, and he wouldn't go because he knew what they did to me. So therefore, he wouldn't go. So they stripped him, and that's how I ended up going to fight Castro over there. Well, he had beat Castro, came back and stopped him and knocked him out. But my first fight was John David Jackson in Argentina, and then I went and fought Castro twice over there. So, and that's when that's when I kind of like deeply was willing to understand the politics and the politics of boxing.
Well, a lot of people talk about that now. In fact, we just had Devin Haney went to Australia on foreign territory and won a title. Did you find any hostility down there? Did you notice maybe they were messing with your food, or kind of shortchanging you to to lose to Castro?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because, like, I had great trainers. One of them was a former world champion bantamweight, but the guy who became my chief trainer, the late Manuel Chato Robles, his son trained Andy Ruiz to become the first heavyweight world boxing champion from Mexico, and Chato taught me so much that I would have never thought of. Whenever I fought guys in their backyard or fought guys in different countries, we always ate. Whenever we went to go eat, we always ordered an extra plate. And the plate that I ordered is the plate that we threw in the trash can. And I tell you, this here happened in Argentina. Since we're talking about Argentina, one time we did that, and whenever we eat, we always walk a half a mile or a mile. So one time we ate everything. We stuck to our plan. Everything went well, but we stopped at a coffee place, and I remember I ordered my own coffee, and we walking down the street drinking coffee. Next thing I know, I started throwing up. So they put something in the coffee. So you're right. Whenever you're fighting somebody in their country, you got to be aware and be geared up to be able to handle that and make sure that they don't put anything in your drink or your food.
We hear so many stories about that. Let me shout a couple more brothers who stopped in to see us tonight, man. Demetrius Bright, man. Shout out Demetrius Bright. Get this smoke, brother. Salute to you, man. Swift Boxing is here. We got Emmanuel Briggs in the building. Norris of Loxley, my brother from England. I'll tell you, Reggie, you draw a worldwide audience in here, man. We're touching all four corners of the globe here, brother.
Well, I've been to England a few times. Irish Steve Collins, who I won my first world title. Yeah, he's from Ireland, but also I was supposed to fight Nigel Benn and Chris Eubanks. Those names came up, but those fights never happened. And every time I've went to London, UK, I never went there and stayed there, but it was always in passing. And I always felt good about London, UK. I think when you talk about the best fans on planet Earth, I think we can go back and research what they did with Ali, how they loved Ali and great fight. Those are probably the greatest fans on planet Earth in the London, UK area.
You speak of Muhammad Ali, man. I love Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, after Ali stopped fighting, I'm not a fan of any fighter anymore. Ali was he was more than a boxer, bro. Ali, I think I've heard you speak of Ali as the greatest fighter that you've ever come across in your life. Want to give us a couple of Muhammad Ali stories?
Well, of course, I have a whole bunch of Ali stories. I was Judge Lloyd Wells, who lived here in Houston, who was in the football business, became real good friends with Ali and was part of Ali team. And that's how I got real close with Ali. Even though before I got real close to Ali, Ali was at a couple of my fights when I lived in L.A. and fighting at the Great Western Forum. But I remember Lloyd Wells called me one day crying. And I'm like, man, what's up? What's wrong? And he was telling me, he said, oh man, Muhammad Ali, I gotta get to him, and I just remember hearing him saying something about dying. Somebody died. And I'm like, what? I'm thinking it was Ali, but it was Mama Bird, which was Muhammad Ali's mother. And I calmed the late Judge Lloyd Wells is his name. Judge, we call him Judge. I calmed him down. I say, Judge, don't worry about it. We'll get there. And me and him flew to Muhammad Ali's mother's funeral. And I had already met Ali and knew Ali from seeing him at fights and things. But I got real close to Ali, was able to go to the house that he was raised in and go through his community. As a matter of fact, what's the fighter that Ali fought that was also from Louisville, Kentucky? He the one picked us up from the airport.
That would be Ellis.
Jimmy Ellis, that's right. That's who picked us up from the airport, yeah. And we went to Ali's mother, the house that he was raised in, went through his community, met some of his neighborhood friends and people that lived in that, and Ali, as a matter of fact, Ali was at the fight when I won my first world title fight against Irish Steve Collins.
And in Connecticut.
Yeah, no, that wasn't Connecticut. That was William Guthrie.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. That was in New Jersey when I fought Irish Steve Collins.
Man, having Muhammad Ali's memories like that, they're just so special. Because I grew up in the reason I started following boxing was Muhammad Ali when he was stripped of his titles and when he was in exile, and man, when he came back and fought Jerry Quarry and Bonavina and then went right to the fight of the century with Joe Frazier. Man, I just have so many good warm memories of Muhammad Ali.
Well, another thing about Muhammad Ali, man, when you say Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time, what people don't realize, it's not only what he did in the ring, but it's what he did outside the ring, man. For that man to take a stand and say, no, I'm not going to do that. I think Ali even told the guys, and I must say the way he said it, he said, you want me to go fight somebody over there and kill innocent people, and I'm not even free here. Y'all calling me nigga here, but you want me to go over there and fight? Ali took a stand, and, they took his belt and all that stuff, but look, he did the right thing. And till this day, the most recognizable face on planet Earth is Muhammad Ali. And I test this all the time. I ask young kids, 12, 13, 14, do you know who Muhammad Ali is? And I'm telling you, man, 85, 90% of those people know who Muhammad Ali is. And these are young kids.
Man, yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Hey, and I got a great Ali story for you. When I was getting ready to fight Irish Steve Collins, the day before the fight, I'm in the room with Ali and his little son. That little kid now is about 30 years old, 31 years old, 32, something like that. And I got I can back everything. I can back up my whole story with pictures. That's what I'm working on now, a picture book. But I remember Manuel Chato Robles, we call him Chato. That was my chief trainer. We get a knock at the door. It's Chato. And Ali's son opened the door, and it was Chato. Chato said, Reggie, I need to talk to you. Keep in mind, he's from Mexico. And he called me outside. I walked outside. He said, listen to me, Reggie. I know you love Ali, man. But Ali no fight for us. We fight for world title tomorrow. We got to get focused. And he just went off, and I said, okay, Chato, all right. So when I go back in there, Ali like, Reggie, who was that? I said, that was Chato. Remember I told you my chief trainer, Manuel Robles, Chato. And Ali said, what you said? What's his name? I said, Chato. We call him Chato. And Ali told me this here. You know what Ali told me? He said, you know what? Ali is right, boy. You better go get focused, because I don't want you blaming me if that Irish white boy whip your ass.
You got that impression pretty much dead on too, champ.
Yeah, and you know what, man? Hey, but that Ali was a character, man, doing magic, and man, and it was just amazing being around that guy, being in his presence, and even when you just with him and I was with his kid, man, he was still doing magic, showing you how to do magic and showing that stuff, and just him talking. But I know one thing about Ali, though, man. He was built for this. If somebody walking there with a camera, interviewing him, he turns into a totally different dude, man. That was Ali.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah. Now, getting back to the two fights with Castro. After those fights, you took almost 2 years off, and then you came back and you got that IBF Light Heavyweight title. Now, were you hurt, or were you just were you going to retire, or what was the story with that?
Well, I wasn't physically hurt. I wasn't even mentally hurt, but I was hard hurt because, you realize how the boxing business is run. I tell people this all the time. Once you get in and start learning the business, you have to take a stand. I had to set out contracts. I had to take Don King and other promoters to court. So all that comes with the boxing. That's why what I'm so passionate about now is working with up and coming fighters and bringing fighters together, and really to put something out there that's gonna stop, the only sport where the rats dictate the lines from controlling all the money. Think about it, man. You got referees, you got judges, you got commentators, you got timekeepers making more money than the two guys that's in there with their life and health on the line. The union, the pension, and all this stuff. This is some stuff that we gotta come together and put out there to take care of the ultimate sport of boxing and to take care of the fighters who's coming behind us.
True words, my brother. Now, a couple of weeks ago, you told me you went to the Hall of Fame induction, and we had not one class, not two classes, 3 classes of Hall of Famers in one room. You have any good memories of that weekend, my brother?
Well, every time I've been to the Hall of Fame, and I started going in 2005. Hey man, if you go one time, you'll be hooked. If you anyway tied to boxing, and this year was a unique year. Like you said, it was the 2020, 2021, and 2022 Hall of Fames. Reconnected with a lot of fighters who I fought, who I was supposed to fight, and then just other fighters that I knew. Like even Layla Ali got inducted, Ali's daughter, who was in the gym with me. I remember the day she walked in the gym in LA and started boxing. And I remember her husband, who she ended up marrying, was also in the gym with us. And I remember also Christy Morton was in LA one time training. I think she was fighting there, and she got into a real physical fight with somebody in the gym, another young lady that they was going back and forth talking about fighting each other, and they got into a real fight. And reconnecting with all those fighters, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones, James Toney, did I mention Tarver? All these fighters, and it's so crazy, man. Time flies so fast. They had a fight that Friday night that was on Showtime at the big arena in the casino, and I see this guy, and he approached me, and he said, "Hey, Reggie, can I get a picture with you?" And I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to figure out who the guy is because I know the face. I never forget a face. So we talking this and that, and I'm trying to play it off, and until it come to me, but I didn't know who he was. But later on, I met 2 other guys, with young up and coming fighters that was there. I said, "Oh, you guys just turned pro?" Yeah, we're from Canada. I said, "Oh man, I fought a guy from Canada, man." I said, his name is Chris Johnson, and the guy said, "Chris Johnson is here. We know Chris Johnson. He's from Canada. You're right, he's here." And then the guy pointed. He said, "That's him right there." And that was the guy who came to get me to take a picture with him. It was Chris Johnson, who I fought, who's also a good fighter. He fought Tarver too. And I never forget, I went over there, I said, "Chris, I didn't even know that was you, man. I'm sorry." I said, "Look at you. You look totally different," because he looked like he'd been lifting weights. He wasn't fat, but he's big and more muscular. And Chris Johnson told me, he said, "Reggie, that's crazy, man. I know you ain't punch drunk, because you was a pretty good defensive fighter." But he said, "Man, he say, how could you forget somebody's ass that you whooped?"
Reggie, I'm telling you, bro, you look like you could get in the ring right now, man. You look you look like you've had that fountain of youth, man. You look really good, brother.
Well,
You still training?
Well, yeah, I still work out and stuff, and I haven't, the last 6 months, I haven't been working with fighters, but I train fighters. As a matter of fact, in a couple of days, I got to go to Lafayette. I got a couple of some other boxers and MMA fighters just reached out to me. This guy that beat Conor McGregor want me to come work with one of his MMA fighters, and I'll be doing that in a couple of days. But I'm a healthy man. I'll be 55 in August, and I've never had nothing foreign in my body, not even a beer. And I try to eat right for the most part. And I'm a health nut, and I just started back really going to the weight gyms and stuff like that. And in the last 2 weeks, I lost like almost 15 pounds.
Wow. Yeah. You're definitely an inspiration to any young guys out there to stay on the straight and narrow, eat clean, stay clean, and you know that you're a testament to living the clean life, my brother.
Well, that testament comes from growing up in an environment that you see this every day with not only your family, your relatives, just your community. And I remember at 12 years old, Mr. Carter telling me I could be champion of the world. And he shared a lot of other things that speaks in volume now. He said, don't ever put anything foreign in your body. And like I said, to this day, I've never had even a beer in my body. And I've only been drunk a couple of times, and one of those times I was drunk, it was from that Roy Jones 1-2 punch.
Now, tell me about some of those I know that there are L's next to them, bro, but those had to be experiences. Being in that ring with Roy Jones Jr. How was that? Is he as good as they say he is?
Yeah, Roy Jones was the best fighter of our era, and probably would be a fighter that could, like a lot of fighters, like Bernard Hopkins, myself, Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather. You know, there's some fighters that you can look at and say, man, you know what, this guy would be able to fight in any era. Boxing is such a strange sport. Just because I beat this guy beat me, don't mean that I can beat that guy. So, I mean, you never know. You know, styles make fights. And I'm glad I came. I think the 90s was the last best era of boxing. I know boxing has come down. We're trying to make a comeback. But think about this. When I beat Irish Steve Collins for the world title in 1992, when the ratings come out, I think I was rated number 5 or 6 in the ratings, and I was the champion of the world. So think about all that talent in that division. Think about all the talent in the heavyweight division, in the welterweight divisions in the 90s. All divisions had a lot of talent. And like in this day and time now, you look at all the weight divisions, you can only name like 2, 3, maybe 4 guys in that division that would fight in that weight class that the fans want to see in the big fights. But back in the day, man, even when I won the world title and defended my mandatory, God, what's the guy's name? I just was talking about it, Lamar Parks.
Kid Fire, yeah, undefeated when you fought him.
Yeah. And I think I was like a 2-1, 3-1, something like that, 4-1 underdog, and I was the champion. So just think about all that talent. Then you had, oh man, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones, Gerald McCullough, what's the Quincy Taylor? What's the guy Quincy Taylor knocked out? He was sitting right next to me at the
Pavlik?
No, the guy from the Virgin Islands.
Julian Jackson?
Julian Jackson. He was sitting right next to me.
Yeah,
the Hawk. Yeah, he was sitting right next to me at the Hall of Fame on the stage. And man, but just think about Bernard. Man, it was just so much talent, man. And I think, you know, if you compare the 90s and those days to this day, man, you probably can pick out 2 or 3 guys in a weight division. But man, back then, man, it was overloaded. The top 10, anybody in the top 10 back then could have been champion of the world, and then it would go even, you know, deeper. You probably had top 20 back then fighters, man. It was so loaded. Even in the heavyweight division, every division, lightweight division,
every division.
Right.
How about Don King? Did you have any run-ins with Don King? You have anything good, bad, and different? How was your experience with Don?
Well, you know, I worked with Don King. I think I'm one of the guys that took Don King to court, and we didn't even have to go to court, and he got it right. And I went against Don King. It was a few promoters. Like I told you, I had to set out some contracts, but it was a few promoters that you know, I challenged and I won. And if you ever go back and listen to that Lamar Parks fight, it talked about me getting out of contracts and me not having a manager and promoter. That's when I had just signed a deal with Dan Goose in that group. But Yeah. Man, hey, I've only had 52 pro fights, and like Julio Cesar Chavez, I could have easily had anywhere from 90 to 120 pro fights if I would have been active like I did when I took off and left Houston and went to California. And I tell everybody, every fighter out there, not only in fight but anything you trying to do, you got to chase the dream, because the dream will never chase you. And I know if I wouldn't have left Houston in 1988 and moved to California, I probably wouldn't have never got a chance to fight for a world title.
Well, you did, my brother, two times. We're gonna throw this in the background here while we talk. We're gonna see if we can put it on the screen here. See if I can let me get it a little better here. Yeah, we want to get that up there.
Yeah, I saw that Lamar Parks, man. That was a great fighter, Lamar Parks. He was a strong fighter too, man.
Yeah, we can watch a little bit of this fight. This was your fight with Lamar Parks. Maybe you can call a little bit of that fight. Let me shout out a couple of more people that came in to see us over here. Reggie,
okay. All right.
we got PGH Big Dog from Pittsburgh. Salute, my brother. We got William Old School Arnett's in here, man. My brother Sheedwe here. Alonzo Halls, All-Star Advisor. Salute to you. Derek Clark, man. Thank you for coming by. You know, I hate to miss anybody that comes in, man, because I feel so good when some people come in here and listen to us. You know, we got almost 20 people in the room, man, and it's a good feeling. And Jimmy Lennon Jr. Now this fight was where was this fight, brother?
Well, that's one of the deals why I did a fight with Ten Goose, the late Dan Goosen. I did a deal with him, and this is right before I fought Steve Collins. The deal I made with him was, okay, once I fight, take care of Steve, become champion. I want my first title defense in my hometown of Houston, and this is one of the reasons why I signed with Dan Goosen. They met that, and we agreed upon that. And this fight was in Houston, Texas, at the Summit, the old Houston Rocket Stadium, and it was my first title defense and Lamar Parks' first world title fight. And he was my mandatory, and we offered him $50,000 to step aside and let me fight Roy Jones at middleweight, and the decision he made would have been the same decision I would have made, but you know, I'm on to fight for the world title now. So I had to take care of him before I moved on.
How was Lamar Parks? I know he's sick right now, man. Was he tough?
Oh, Lamar Parks was a tough fighter, man. I think if a Lamar Parks was fighting in this era, he would definitely be champion. And I told at the post press conference that night we fought, I told everybody, this is the guy, a force to be reckoned with in the middleweight. I'm going to be moving up to 68 pretty soon, and he's going to be the middleweight guy. And that's when I think he had like 3 or 4 more fights, and he became the mandatory for Gerald McCullen, and they was going to fight in Vegas, and that's when everything came out about him testing positive with HIV. But he's a great guy. I'm still in touch with him and his dad. I still talk to a lot of the fighters I've fought, and just boxers in general. I'll keep in touch with all fighters.
Beautiful. Memphis Freestyle, thank you for coming in, my brother. Now speaking of middleweights, Reggie, I think personally the greatest middleweight, in fact, I met him once. I met him twice, as a matter of fact. I saw him train in Provincetown, Mass. We just lost him a year ago. That would be Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Oh, man, you just brought him up. He was a great guy. I knew Marvin. Met him at the Hall of Fame for the first time. As a matter of fact, I was at the Hall of Fame. I saw his wife, and I went and sat down with her for a while and talked to her for about 20, 30 minutes at the fights. And when I was there for the Hall of Fame, the International Boxing Hall of Fame, spent a little time with his wife, and she's still going through it. She's still hurt, man, but she's a strong lady. And me and her had a good conversation, was talking about Marvelous Marvin. And I remember the first day I met him, It was the first time I went to the Hall of Fame, and we was doing the 5K run, and I was looking at Marvin, he looking at me, and I was looking at he had on some shorts, and he had the socks on the same way he fought with the tube socks with the color on them. And I said, Marvin, you still wearing them tube socks? Everybody started laughing, and we just out there having fun, man. He was a nice guy, a good guy, man.
Nice guy. I'm going to drop a link from my brother George Jakovic and Trick Nolte if they want to come on here. I thought I sent you guys a link at home, but apparently we had a little snafu. I had the same thing with Reggie. I finally, after about 3 links, I got him in here, man. But yeah, that link's for George and for my brother Trick Nolte if he's out there and wants to stop in. But yeah, man, Marvin Hagler, he ruled the middleweight division in the 80s, man. It was middleweight champion of the world, Marvin Hagler. It was like it was one word.
Yeah, unbelievable, man. Man, the one thing I remember about Marvin Hagler, me being a softball, him being a softball, he's one of the guys that I looked at a lot of his tapes, and but Marvin Hagler, man, this guy, he was when he fought Vito Amafermo, and they called that fight a draw, a fight I thought he won, a fight he knew he won. I just remember what he said at the post press conference of that fight. He said, "From now on, I'm bringing my own judges," and he showed us those 2 judges, which was his left and right hand. He said, "I'm bringing my own judges," and he did. For the most part, he was knocking everybody out. Yeah.
Hey, your brother Trick Nolte, Anthony Carter, just came in the room. Shout out to Trick Nolte, putting this together, man. Peace, my brother Trick Nolte. Welcome.
What's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. What's going on, everybody? Reggie?
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Nolte? I'm doing fine, man. Hope all is well.
Man, I'm doing good, man. Got the H-Town in the house.
Oh, absolutely, man. This is a beautiful thing. I love talking boxing and bringing boxing related people together, man. Fighters and everybody that want to be educated with boxing. We can share our stories and talk about the history of boxing. And man, it's a beautiful thing. And like I just told him earlier, man, they talking about the MMA taking over. Boxing ain't going nowhere. Boxing is the oldest sport. It started with bare knuckles, and we might have ups and downs in boxing, but boxing ain't going nowhere. We're the #1 sport.
All day long, all night long. I mean, ever since Cain fought Abel. Ever since Cain fought Abel, I've been a fan of the sport, man. That's what it seems like anyway. I just got a text over here with nothing big. I was just hoping I didn't neglect anybody. G5 Gabe. Oh, you didn't get a man? I sent the links out. G5. I'm going to drop one in just for you, my brother. I don't know what's going on with this internet over here. I invite people here the way we're supposed to, and it doesn't come through for me. Like I said, it took me a half dozen times to get the guest of honor in here tonight, and my co-hosts who come in here and do it with me, Trick Nolte, George Jakovic, and G5 Gabe. None of them got it, but I said, hey man, me and Reggie can put a show through. I mean, this guy's got knowledge, and I noticed you said earlier today, Reggie, that you wanted to give an autographed picture. You're going to ask a trivia question.
Yeah, I think I wanted to ask the trivial question and probably send that person, you send me their address and their name, whoever called in and answered, and I want them to answer this question: who is the only fighter who won a round without throwing one punch?
First answer in the chat gets an autographed picture of Reggie Sweet Johnson. Who's the first fighter who won a round without throwing a punch? We got some pretty smart people in here. They should get that like this.
Yeah. We don't want nobody on the show with us saying that. We want somebody to call in and say it.
Nope. Hero Central. I think we got a winner over here.
Who is that?
Hero Central Boxing, BXO CCD. He said Pep. That's the man.
Yeah, he's right, Willie Pep. So get his information, and with me, you'll talk later. You can just send that to me, that address to me, and I'll send that picture to him.
I'll do that. Pearl,
Okay.
I'll give you my email. You can shoot that to me. I'll shoot that to Reggie. And yep, we got somebody who knows some boxing in here. We got a lot of people that know some boxing in here. And shout out to my brother Mo Boxing who stepped in the room. Jeff Lucietta, man, shout out to you. Pearl, shout out to you for coming in, man. Mr. Mechanical, peace, my brother. I appreciate you guys coming in here, man. We're talking to the two-time world champion over here, man. We're talking to Reggie Sweet Johnson, and this man has been in the ring. He should have gotten a decision over James Toney. He fought Roy Jones. He fought William Guthrie. He fought Jorge Castro. He fought John Collins. I can go on and on, man. But it's a pleasure to have a real champion here from the day. Let me ask you another question, Reggie. Who do you think that's fighting today could hang in there with the fighters from your day?
I think the Crawfords, the Spence from Dallas, who not too far from me, Spence. Of course, Canelo. And they got a few other fighters. What's the guy who just unified the belt? I think he's a pretty good fighter. And then they got a fighter here named after Tupac, who's Jay Prince, who lives also in Houston, Texas, signed him, and he's like champion too. Yeah, Shakur. Yeah, he's also champion. And those guys. And they got the guy who just beat the tall guy who just won that beat Canelo. I mean, I don't. That was the first time I really watched him fight. But he beat Canelo, and I don't really see him fighting in the era that I fought in, being successful like he was with Canelo, and I can also tell that Canelo threw wide punches and his timing was off. And sometimes you overtrain. I've done that before, and I know a couple of fighters who've done that before, overtrained or just had a bad night. But when we it's not that we don't have no great fighters in this day and time. It's just that we had so many back when I was coming up in every weight division.
Now, do you think there's any reason these fighters don't fight as often as the fighters did in the 90s and the 80s? It seems they fight once a year, and even the younger guys once or twice a year. I know back in your day it was minimum 3-4 fights every year, even when you had a belt.
It's changed a lot, but let me also educate the boxing fan, and this is something that we're fighters gonna have to come together and fix. Boxing is the only sport where the rats dictate the lions. Like, these fighters go out throwing chairs, talking crazy to each other, and all they doing is really helping the promoter promote the fight that they putting together. Fighters don't really predict who they fight. That's why they say promoters are just like attorneys. Attorneys sign the paperwork with you to do what's in your best interest. They're gonna always do what's in their best interest. So and think about this. How can you have 150, 200 fighters signed and keep all those fighters busy?
Well, do you think they're worried more about the litigation today? Because everybody seems to be worried about crossing over the street. You've got your promoter. You don't see anybody from Top Rank fighting any fighters from the zone. It seems to be a lot of litigation going on in boxing today. Do you think that might be the reason why some of these fighters aren't fighting as often as they should?
Of course, that has something to do with it. And think about that, man. That's really slowing the sport down. Boxing, hey, man, at the end of the day, like I told you earlier, boxing fans, those are the ones who really write the checks for the fighters, the boxing fans. It's just that the promoters dictate the money that they pay to see us fight. And like Mayweather did, he had a buyout clause in his contract and got away from Top Rank Bob Arum. Look what Crawford just did. He just left Bob Arum. And it was a beautiful thing that Roy Jones did when he started. He started his own promotional company, started promoting his own fights until he got to fighting for them big world titles, and he dealt with some of the promoters. But like I'm saying, man, until fighters come together and we lay out business structure. I give you a perfect example. When I was in California, California was one of the only states that had a pension. So all these years go by, the money they was taking out my purses when I was fighting out there, guess what they told me? I was one round from getting my pension. So how you gonna take all my money and then tell me I was only one round from getting my pension? So what you want me to do? You want me to go get a cab driver and fight him and knock him out to get my pension?
Wow. 1 round from a pension.
Yeah. 1 round.
Yeah,
Which is life changing.
Yes, absolutely, it's life changing. And think about like I said, boxing is the only world sport all over the world, man. Even when you look at Manny Pacquiao's story, when he's a little kid, he's running around there hustling, trying to sell stuff to eat. Unlike the NFL, the NBA, and the soccer league, and all this stuff, we don't go to school, we don't go to college. 85 to 90% of boxers all over the world come from the bottom. Hey, I got another I got another picture I want to give away. This is another one right here. Name me one fighter who came from a middle class family.
Want me to name it or
I want one of the, you might know it. I don't want you to name it. You pretty sharp. I want one of the I want one of the boxing fans.
All right, we got a couple more that just came in the room. My brother D-Ray Promotions, who's up there in Omaha with Bud's Camp, man. Shout out to D-Ray. My brother Yoda Crush Wise. Okay, Mr. Pad says Bobby Ches.
Bobby Ches? I don't know about Bobby Ches, but that's not the guy I was talking about.
All right, man. Reggie's picture, Reggie's quiz. Reggie's got a certain answer in his head, man. First guy that gets it's going to get an autographed picture, and I want one of those autographed pictures too to put on my wall, brother.
Oh yeah, we can work that out easy, man. That's easy. But yeah. Name me one fighter who came from a middle class family.
I got
mine.
One man's answering Errol Spence, EJ. My brother boxing conversation with Reggie Owens says Tommy Morrison.
Yeah, I don't yeah, but and that could be true, but I don't. But what I'm saying, I'm talking about the fighter that I'm talking about. They got to say his name.
We got you, Oscar De La Hoya.
No, I knew Oscar. I got a picture with Oscar with my first bet on when he was 16. I don't think it was Oscar either. I don't think Oscar came from a middle class family.
Okay, I mean this is who Reggie Johnson considers a middle class person that came in his era. Who? No.
I didn't say he came in. He came in my era. I just say name me one fighter that came from a middle class family.
All right, so we're talking about an all-time great. We got a guest of Sugar Ray on here. That's Sugar Ray Leonard you're talking about, isn't it? D-Ray?
No, it wasn't Sugar Ray Leonard. So that's why Sugar Ray turned pro. He saw that he could make money.
Sugar Ray needed the money for his was it father's operation?
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't Sugar Ray. Yeah, it wasn't Sugar Ray Leonard. And another thing I want to educate you on. You also said I was a 2-time world champion. I was a 2 division, but I won the world title 3 times.
All right, I stand corrected. A 3-time world champion, 2 divisions.
Yeah.
And Reggie. What I was wondering is, why didn't you take a stab at that super middleweight championship?
Because the opportunity presented itself. I was going to move up to 168, but when I got the call to fight William Guthrie for the light heavyweight, I jumped on it. But that fight was for Frank Tate, who I lost to in the Olympic trials, and he didn't take the fight. And the guy at the gym, Mr. Benton, say, well, listen, man, told the guy at HBO, listen, we got somebody here fighting, but I need to know if you got any ties with William Guthrie, because Guthrie ain't gonna beat this guy. And he said the guy said, get the F out of here, man. Who in the hell do you got that's gonna beat William Guthrie? And he said, when he said my name, the guy said, Reggie Johnson is a middleweight. Are you crazy? But I took that fight, and I think I was 7-1 underdog.
Nice.
You gotta show that, Bruce, man. You gotta show that fight. That knockout, man, was something serious, man. And,
Which one?
You know, and I was the William Guthrie fight.
William Guthrie.
Reggie, you know, at the time I was staying in Conroe, man. Yeah, Reggie. At the time I was staying in Conroe. Huh?
Oh, I didn't know you was in Conroe then. Okay. Reggie? No, I said I didn't know you was in Conroe.
I was in Conroe at the time. Yeah, I was living in Conroe at the time, man, and I had a house full, man. And my brother's best friend, he was from I think he wasn't from St. Louis. I think he was from Ferguson. Not Ferguson. I think he's from Ferguson. But he knew some people that knew William Guthrie. He's like, oh man, William Guthrie gonna knock this dude out. I say, I don't think so, man. And you took him to school, man, and that was I think you got knockout. I think it was knockout of the year, if I'm not mistaken. And one of them Ring, it might have been Ring. It might have been Ring magazine.
Yeah, it was knockout. It was knockout of the year with me. They had 2 and 1 because they had Roy Jones when he hit Virgil Hill with the body shot, and they said it'd be and my fight was knockout of the year. Yeah.
Now you went for a long undefeated streak, all the way from amateurs until you suffered that first defeat to James Toney.
No. I lost my 7th pro fight against Adam George, a guy from Louisiana. When Ali and Ray Leonard and them did the amateur tournament when they went by state, Louisiana was the state that won it. And the guy, I lost my 7th pro fight, and I was more worried about going 8 rounds. And when the 8 rounds was over, I still had all this energy, but I lost a close fight to Adam George from Louisiana. That was my 7th pro fight.
I thought you had a real long streak of undefeated streak.
Oh no! I lost, like I told you, man. I lost my first 4 amateur fights, and then I lost my 7th pro fight, and still went on to be on the U.S. boxing team, and still went on to fight and win world titles. So
hey, they're still making guesses for that middle class fighter. I've got another guess of Barrera, Marco Antonio Barrera.
No, I don't. No, that's not the guy I'm talking about.
You guys, man, you're getting a picture of a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame over here, man. An autographed picture, and you're gonna get I bet you're gonna get a personally autographed picture. So this is something, man. I mean, this is more. This is not so much to test your knowledge of boxing, but you have to kind of do a mind meld with Reggie Johnson on the middle class fighter he's thinking of. And if you can think of that fighter, that's why this is such a unique gift here, man. This is going to be a personally autographed picture, and you got to tell me what's on Reggie's mind over here. So, anybody want to make a guess, man?
And this was a great fighter that everybody know. That
why don't you give him a hint on the weight class it was in?
No, I don't want to do that because they no, I don't want to do that.
This is a good gift. You're gonna have to work for it.
Yeah. It's hey man, I'll give you a hint. This is a fighter everybody should know.
Now you guys were popping each other in this, and at the end of this fight, man, you guys are going at it like it's the first round over here, bro.
Well, that guy Lamar Parks was signed with Madison Square Garden, and I remember at the press conference, I remember his dad had the long braids, and his dad was doing the talking. His dad did the talking for him, and his dad streamed at me, and you know what his dad said? He said, "Reggie, don't you know where there's smoke, there's fire?" And he's talking about his son's stage name, Kid Fire. And me, knowing how Ali responded to a lot of stuff, I say, but wait a minute, don't you know whenever you see smoke, that mean a fire been put out? And everybody was like, woo! And, you know, everybody started like, you know, woo! We was going back and forth. But yeah, I still talk to Lamar Parks. I talked to Michael Nunn. Me and James Toney was together at the Hall of Fame. We was together like 3 weeks before the Hall of Fame at an event here in Houston. And me and Antonio Tarver got a sister that lives in Houston, got 2 sons that box, and I went to one of their fights. So that's another thing, man. Even the guys I fought are just boxers, man. I just love communicating with the boxing family. You know, I know we had to fight each other, man, but we still brothers and we still family.
It's beautiful for boxers to stay connected. And Houston's seems like it's really a hot place for boxing now.
Well, another thing, one of the people forget about, you know, we got Las Vegas, we got Atlantic City, we got the Bronx, New York, that's known for having the big fights. But people forget that back in the day when I was a little kid, because I remember
Excuse me 1 second.
I saved my money and rode the Metro bus when they had the big fight at the Astrodome. Houston used to produce a lot of big fights, hosted a lot of big fights right here at the Astrodome back in the day when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ali and Terrell, man, that was the what's my name fight.
Cleveland Williams.
That's Cleveland Williams. Yeah, Cleveland Williams. Yeah.
No. Wasn't Ernie Terrell the what's my name?
No, that's Cleveland Williams. Big Cat Williams. What?
No. Ernie Terrell would refuse to call him Clay.
Ernie Terrell was what's my name, but
it was Terrell, man.
Here in Houston was with Big Cat Williams.
Well, the what's my name fight was Terrell. You know, Terrell just refused to call him Muhammad Ali.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's right. Ernie Terrell. That's right. Yeah. But yeah. I went to that fight when Ray Leonard. I remember Ronnie Shields, the great trainer who was a great amateur, and he had some good pro. Ronnie Shields, all them guys fought at the. I think Tommy Hearns was on it. And I remember I rode the Metro bus and saved up money for that fight because I had a job when I was 14 working at Kroger's, a grocery store, and I remember I went to that fight and it was awesome, man.
Awesome. You know, that's you never forget a Muhammad Ali fight. I saw him once. I only saw an exhibition at the Providence Civic Center. He exhibition with Jimmy Ellis, with Alonzo Johnson, former opponent, and a local guy, Dino Dennis. But you just never forget seeing Muhammad Ali. I don't care if you only saw him for a sparring session. Just the charisma of that man. And I feel, hey, G5 stepped in the building. Speaking of Houston hard hitters, salute my brother G5.
G5.
Good day, G5.
What's going on, champ? What's going on, Reggie? I'm glad you to get back on in here on us again, man. You know, you like it's like your second home over here, man. You can pull up whenever you want to over here on Tuesday Night Fights, man. It's not even an interview; it's a conversation. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know that Tuesday Night Fights, man. I think I probably fought on that about 5 or 6 times.
Yes, you did, man. Hey, man, Sean O'Grady and Al Albert.
Hey, that's the guy I'm talking about, Sean O'Grady. That's who was sitting next to me at the at the Hall of Fame, and I brought it up about the Lamar Parks fight, how he was pulling for Lamar Parks, and he started laughing, cracking jokes about it. He said, "Yeah, we all thought Lamar Parks was gonna beat you, Reggie." So, yeah.
Trick, what was the fight you asked me to pull up? Was it the Guthrie fight?
Yes, sir.
And another thing I wanted to share with you guys, I turned pro at the age of 17. They wanted me to stay another 4 years to try to make the 88 Olympic team, but I wanted to turn pro. And I talked to my mother, Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter didn't have a problem with it, but my mother, you know, who didn't want me fighting anyway, but she wasn't with it and this and that. And sometimes you gotta do a counterpunch to get what you want to have done. But what happened was I found out I had a kid on the way, and my mother said, "Yeah, boy, you right. You turning pro now."
Your mom didn't want
Look
you
at
to
that
turn
short.
pro.
Yeah, she
Wow.
didn't want me to turn pro, but I had a kid on the way. Found out I had a kid on the way. My oldest daughter, she's 36 now,
Wait a
and
minute. What's going on here? What's going on here? Oh, I only had the knockout on here. Sorry, I thought it was not. I thought I had the whole fight. Let me go back and correct that. I need George Jakovic on here. He's my producer. And George gets these fights up like that. And I only had a highlight there, but what a highlight it was. This was the knockout right here, man. Just to show this beautiful punch is worth it here, man. Let me Reggie, you got that one without any warning. This one you're warned on. Walk us through this fight.
well, that was a fight with William Guthrie. We just talked about that, and that opportunity came, and I jumped on it, and I was a 7-1 underdog. But this is what people don't understand, man. Me growing up with my uncle and them, who was boxers, who was grown men, and I'm a kid boxing them. You know, I don't. Most people say, you know, that guy's too young to be fighting that grown man, because a grown man is stronger. But what people don't realize, in the ultimate sport of boxing, a guy can be bigger than you, stronger than you, faster than you, taller than you. His reach can be longer than yours, and you still can beat him, because you can beat him physically and mentally. And like watching this fight right here with Steve Collins, it was a totally different fight. But I knew Guthrie was a bigger guy, and I had to go out there and let him know that well, I might be a smaller guy, but you know, there was a lot of times in that fight I was the aggressor. I got more aggressive in that fight with him.
Hey, let me shout out to a few more that came in here. Quickly, shout out to you, my sister. 86 Boxing. Thank you for coming in, man. Mad Chad, you got your link. I sent you your link in StreamYard and in Twitter, rather. In Twitter and a link for you at home. But anyway,
you got your drink? Yeah, okay.
William Old School on it. Lance Meyer. Shout out. Thank you guys for coming in here, man. We're just chopping up some fights with a good brother I just met, man. Former world champion. Former 3-time world champion. I just was corrected on that. 2 division, man. We got Reggie Sweet Johnson in here, man. And if you haven't heard of Reggie Sweet Johnson, kick back for a few minutes and then Google him. Reggie, once again, man. Tell us a little more about Steve Collins. Steve Collins was a pretty tough kid. He went the distance from Allen. He was a warrior.
Well, you know, at the post press conference, I told Steve. And I also told this at the mic, and you know, you talking about it. That's a tough Irish guy, and I told anybody, if I ever go to war, I would want Steve Collins standing next to me, because the guy's a tough warrior. And even Steve said it after the fight when they interviewed us after the fight. He said, "Well, you know, I know I got the heart to fight." He said, "But maybe Reggie Reggie have more skills, but I got the heart," and he's right. The guy, he's a real warrior. If you ever go to war, this is the type of guy you want next to you.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You've got more skill and more speed, but he just keeps chugging forward, just throwing those bombs at you.
Yeah. But you know, they got some guys are like sluggers. That's why I tell people about the best Mike Tyson. He was a slugger, but he probably was the smartest slugger of all time, because he made guys miss, and he's going right at them and being real aggressive. So, yeah.
Now, were you the underdog, or were you the favorite, or what was the deal with this fight?
I can't remember what the odds was on this fight. I think it was pretty even fight.
Now, was this for the vacant title?
Well, no. What happened was James Toney fought Mike McCallum for the undisputed, and what happened was Mike McCallum didn't pay his sanctioning fees. So that made the WBA belt that he had become freed up, and whenever that happens, that means the number 1 and the number 2 fight for the vacant title. I was number 2 by the WBA, but I was number 1 by the IBF and the WBC. But I went on and fought Steve Collins for the WBA because I was number 2 and he was number 1, and it was a 50-50 split.
You know what I like about that? It doesn't hold the belts hostage.
Right.
I like that rule.
Yeah. And I think the WBA, WBC, and IBF. I think that work, and the WBO. I think all of them work that way. If something like that happened, they become vacant. They have like the 1 or 2. But now, I take that back because I think they gave somebody a belt before the fight.
Now they make the rules up as they go along.
You're right about that. Yeah, they gave somebody the belt. Yeah.
We're seeing corruption all over boxing every day, and that's why I just love coming here. Get in the time machine, go watch these classic fights, talk to a classic champion, man. And this is real boxing. This is the stuff I grew up with, and I love. Don't get me wrong. I follow boxing today. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning, I check my emails. I'll go look at Boxing 24, Boxing Scene, see what went on yesterday. But these fights and talking to the guys that are in your Hall of Fame class, bro, that's what I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. And that's just like, I'm telling you, man, one of the Bernard Hopkins got a great mouthpiece. I love the way when he talk. James Toney.
Oh yeah.
Roy Jones, man, at the Hall of Fame, when Roy got through speaking up there, he started singing his rap song. Y'all must have forgot, and everybody went crazy with that. It's it was nice. Layla Ali, she had a great speech. Man, it's just great, seeing that, and like I tell everybody. In my heart, I know one day I'll probably get there, but I want to be here. I don't want to be 6 feet deep, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I want to be here.
Oh man, you keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna be here a long time.
Yeah.
You know who else I enjoyed talking to from that era? Disappeared for a bit. Michael Nunn. Michael Nunn comes back, and great fighter.
Well, Michael Nunn is I was his mandatory, and he fought James Toney, and he was winning that fight, and he lost. That's why James Toney fought me 6 weeks later, because I was the mandatory. But Michael Nunn, I was because when I ended up getting with Dan Goose and them, who he was with, they said that fight, they didn't want that fight to happen. That fight wasn't gonna never happen with me and him, because we both 2 left-handed, and they didn't want me fighting him. But that I was his mandatory, and don't you know that James Toney fought me 6 weeks after he fought Michael Nunn?
Man, that's because you guys were warriors. You didn't take 6 months. You didn't take a year off. You didn't have to go find yourself.
Yeah. And then if you really think about that, man. Them guys fighting less now, but they look at they getting bigger checks now.
Huge checks. I mean. Why didn't the fighters of the 90s get these checks that these guys are getting today? It seems like you had it. More people were watching boxing.
Well, I think just like everything else, as time go on, I guess prices go up. I don't know, but I just know that we need some business structure to really take care of these fighters, man. I talk to Lisa McCullough all the time. That's Gerald McCullough's sister. The lady been taking care of her brother for 27 years, and we know his story. Boxing related people know his story. Not too long ago, I heard we lost a female young lady in a boxing match. You guys know about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that
was Serrano after the Serrano fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And that's not even to mention, think about it, man. One of the greatest defensive fighters of all time. His sister is taking care of him, and that's
Wilfred Benitez.
Wilfred Benitez, yeah. And that's just some of the stories, man. You got fighters living on the street. Someone told me that what's his name? Because he was the top heavyweight. He won the gold medal in '84. Tyrell Biggs. Yeah, somebody was telling me in Philadelphia that he was having hard times. Was living on the streets. This has been years ago. Somebody told me that.
No, I saw Tyrell Biggs at a he was at a fundraiser, Iran Barkley fundraiser in the Bronx a couple of weeks ago. I didn't go there myself, but I saw the film of it. And there's a boxer in Rhode Island, Greg Towns. He does a lot. He goes and films. He's a former light heavyweight fighter, Greg Towns from the '90s. You probably know him.
Okay, yeah, I probably know if I see him.
Andrew Maynard. I mean, he's solid guy. Loves his boxing. He does a lot of YouTube work. And he went to this dinner, the Iran Barkley fundraiser, and Tyrell Biggs was there. He had shades on. I didn't know if he was blind or not, but he looked healthy. And I mean, he had a whole array of fighters. Larry Holmes was there. Jerry Cooney was there. Witherspoon was there. Ray Mercer, Lou Savarese. I'll shoot you the video, man. It does your heart really good to look at these guys.
Yeah, I would love to see that, man. Thanks for deal. Make sure you send it to me. I would love to see that.
Absolutely, man. I'm going to put you in touch with some people, and we're going to get this brotherhood stronger, man, because that's what it's all about. And that's, if God put me here for one purpose, it's to meet Trick Nolte and to hook up with other fighters. And I hate the old saying, give them their roses while they're still alive, bro. But that's what we're here for. We're to show you your appreciation. Like you said, you don't want it when you're 6 feet in the ground, bro. You want it when we're eye to eye. You know what I'm saying, my brother?
Oh, absolutely, man. And man, the history of boxing is so deep, man. And I think I don't know if I shared this with you. When I turned pro at 17, I didn't sign with Josephine Abercrombie, who signed Frank Tate, and she had Tony Toker. She had all the fighters coming. Even Tommy Hearns came here. Roberta Duran. She's signing fighters. This lady and she was originally from where Muhammad Ali was from, Louisville, Kentucky, and she built a brand new state-of-the-art gym here and all that stuff. But man, that her signing Frank Tate, like I told you, my people didn't like that, and they went and found another group of people who
because she had health insurance. And she had pensions. Everything, man. And what happened to that concept?
I think what happened with her was the lady loved boxing. I know she had this one guy that was the head guy, that was Bob Spagnolia, that was over it. And I think what happened was her family kind of like got her out of business. As a matter of fact, they had to legally. They had to go to the and get her out the business. She got out the business.
Wow. Well, God bless her, and I hope her spirit comes down into someone else, because she was a pioneer. I can remember reading about her back in the Ring magazines and in the Knockout magazines, how she was promoting, it seems like, a fight a month, and fighters all over the country were trying to get into her stable. So,
yeah. And I was with her when I was like 15, before I even turned 16. And I was going to turn pro with them. But like I said, they signed Frank Tate, and Mr. Carter went and found another group that I signed with, which worked out better for me.
Well, you had a great career, my brother. Now, are you watching boxing today? Do you watch the fights that are going on? Did you see the light heavyweight fight the other night? The Turbiev and Bivol.
Yeah. I seen that fight.
Turbiev and Joe Smith.
Yeah. I seen that fight, and I saw the other fight too. I watched some of the big name fights. I watch, but I mean, back in the day, man, I don't care if it was two little midgets fighting in boxing, I was gonna watch it. But it's not the same, man. And yeah, I don't watch all fights now, but yeah. I'm still a boxing guy, and like I said, I understand that we don't have all the talent in those weight divisions that we once had, but we got like this Crawford, Spence, Canelo. That I love that guy Ryan Garcia, and come on, man, what's Mayweather guy name? That dude there, man, he's unbelievable, man.
Tank Davis,
he's unbelievable. So we can. It's not that we don't have no talent. It's just that back in the day,
coming together. They're just not fighting each other. We're looking at it, and none of these guys fought each other. You guys,
Right.
the middleweights, you fought everybody, everyone. I mean, none of them went. None of them could skate through that division because everybody was a killer. Every fighter from 10 to number 1.
Yeah.
Nobody's giving up their spot.
Yeah. And that's why I pointed out this to you earlier when I beat Steve Collins for the first world title in my second try. When the ratings came out, I think I was like number 5 or 6. So just think about all that talent they had in the middleweight division. Then, if I'm the world champion, I'm rated number 5 or 6.
Well, and that also goes to show you that talent was valued more over trinkets.
Right. Well, we got to deal with, in all business. You're gonna deal with the politics and the politics. So, yeah.
And why do we do that? Why do we follow the WBC, the WBO, the IBF? It's so confusing. They got the interim champions. They got the silver champs. I mean, for somebody who's just getting into boxing, they're going to look at this and say, "What is this? Is this a video game? Is this a sport?" You've got obscure fighters. I mean, it's just crazy compared to how simple it was in the old days. You fought your way to the championship. If you got an NABF or a USBA title, you were going to get a world title shot. It was really fan friendly. Now it's just so freaking confusing. How can a new person get into this sport?
Well, once again, when I talk about fighters coming together, putting together business structure that's going to benefit the guys who are in there with their life and health on the line, and the ultimate sport itself, even that should be considered. That we come up with a belt, a champion's belt. You see what I'm saying? And just like the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO, we come up with a belt and name it the champion's belt. And even back then, when I was coming up, I always wanted it to be one champion. I wanted to fight for the undisputed middleweight champion, like I did the undisputed light heavyweight championship with Roy Jones. Man, it should be one champion.
But how long have we been saying that? And then we see another federation open up their doors. I don't know, man. It just seems like it's just so difficult to say who's the best in the division when you've got one division and you got 4 people claiming to be a world champion, and they're not fighting each other.
Okay, but okay, like even though this was during our era, think about this here. Do you remember when Riddick Bowe was supposed to have been fighting Lennox Lewis, and he threw the WBC belt in the trash? I don't know all the details of why he didn't fight him or why he threw that belt in the trash. I don't know all the details about it, but come on, man, to do that, that mean even back then it was the best fighting the best, and we don't know why he did it. But I'm like, why would you go live and throw a belt in the trash and say, no, I'm not gonna fight him, I'm gonna fight who I want to fight?
Yeah, I guess from what I understand, there wasn't enough money in a Lennox Lewis fight, who was the mandatory. And he assumed the fight would be made down the road when it was worth a lot of money, and it actually was. They were signed to fight each other. I think it was almost a $10 million each for a guarantee, and then Lennox Lewis gets knocked out by
Oliver McCall.
Oliver McCall, yeah.
Yeah. But he also, that's who beat Lennox. I mean, that's who beat Lennox Lewis. Beat him in the Olympics, right?
Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, he stopped Riddick Bowe, right? Okay, yeah.
But unfortunately, that's one of the fights we never saw, and this is why I want to see Bud and Spence fight, Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. That's a great fight to be made.
Especially when a fighter is fighting on that level. I don't really see a fighter fighting on that level who had been champion, defended his belts, being scared to fight somebody. My whole thing is, let's get the business straight. I agree with this dollar amount I'm getting paid. I'm gonna go give everything I got, and if I get knocked out, I'm also had this in my contract. Wake my ass up at the bank. Wake me up at the bank. Yeah. Hey, if I wake up and we ain't at the bank, everybody getting fired.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, it must be in our Texas blood. Like, hey, if I take this L, I'm gonna get paid handsomely for it, and I'm gonna be all right.
But I do understand what he's saying though, man. Think about back in the day. Sugar Ray Robinson, Raging Bull, they fought 6 times. Ali, Norton, and Frazier fighting 3 times. The best part, I mean, they think about that, man. Give the people what they want to see, man, and all those fights, man. And then think about that first fight with all the stuff Ali had went through with the government, and when he did fight Joe Frazier that first fight, man, they said that's the greatest fight of the century, man. All the people, man, what's the great actor name? They say they couldn't find a seat for him, so they just made him the cameraman so he can be down there by the ring to see the fight.
Frank Sinatra, yeah.
Frank Sinatra, yeah.
Burt Lancaster too.
Yeah.
Burt Lancaster. Miles Davis was hidden away for a year, and he snuck out of his house just to go to that fight. I mean, that was everybody.
All the noted people was at that fight, man. There was so many people that it was crazy, man.
Oh, and you know, that's what I'm wearing tonight, man. Smoking Joe Frazier.
Oh man, you know what? I had the pleasure of meeting Joe Frazier, and I think that was in 2019. Yeah, they in Louisiana, which is like about 4 hours drive from where I'm at. Not even 4 hours, 3 hours. It was in Lake Charles, and I drove there. They had something to get in the Olympic trials, and I met Joe Frazier's son because I never met Joe Frazier, but I met his son. And I had to tell his son. I say, listen, man, your dad was a great fighter. I say people got to realize, and I realize you can't say Muhammad Ali without saying Joe Frazier, and you can't say Joe Frazier without saying Muhammad Ali. And I told that to his son, man. Yeah.
I mean, Joe Frazier was a treasure, and to me, that one of the biggest crimes is that they had to tear down Joe Frazier's gym in Philadelphia.
No. And you're right about that. I was in Philly one time with my advisor, and we passed by Joe Frazier's gym. And it was a furniture store, but they still had his name engraved in there. And that's crazy that Philadelphia city didn't step in there and do something with that, man. That would have been good for the community, for kids, and all that stuff. But you know,
God bless Joe Frazier.
That's messed up. How you let that slip away? A great gym. How you let that just fall to the wayside? You know what I'm saying? Like that's just blasphemous. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the pillars. You're supposed to make sure you keep his shit by all means necessary. But
you know how many Joe Frazier's gym, Roberto Duran would go there. You go to the East Coast, that's where they went. If they didn't go down to 52nd Street, then they go to Joe Frazier's gym, and man, that would have been a museum. Philadelphia is known as the fighting city. And if you went to Philadelphia, where would you want to go to, man? Joe Frazier's gym, but
yep.
I don't know how they let that one slip through their fingers.
And I'll tell you something else, man. Joe Frazier being who he is, being a great fighter like that, I'll tell you something else, man, that's crazy. Can you?
Oh no. Damn.
Come back in again, brother. He's got the link. Reggie, just enter the studio again. I don't know what happened, man. Maybe your phone went dead. I hope you come back again, brother. Because man, this was a smoking session over here, man. I'll tell you, Trick.
No tokes up there for you, Bruce.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, I've been toking, bro. I mean,
I haven't heard him. Let me ask my man. I ain't heard him. I ain't heard the bubbles in the.
No. I had to carry the show most of the way myself. Reggie's back here again. Let me get him back in. And man, I didn't want to.
Okay.
There we go, bro.
Okay. Yeah, I know. That's why I held mine to the side. I'm just like, let me just hold off.
Okay, no.
You know,
I'm back on.
I keep it cool, especially when they cook.
All right, bro.
I'm back in.
Yeah, you're back in loud and clear, my brother. Loud and clear. Loud
Okay.
and clear.
Don't continue,
Hey,
man. Go ahead and finish up what you were
okay.
saying.
And that's another thing I was going to talk about Joe Frazier, man. Think about this here, man. All that man did, and he was a noted guy for Philadelphia. He was like one of the faces of Philadelphia. And they closed that man gym down. And guess what? They got a statue of Sylvester Stallone, but they don't have a statue of Joe Frazier.
Now make that make sense.
Now, Reggie.
Yeah,
Hey, and Stallone in the Hall of Fame.
absolutely.
Stallone in the Hall of Fame. How you in the Hall of Fame? He ain't even a fighter. He in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I watched the Rocky movies and I thought they was good in Jordan. But man, when you compare him to a real fighter, Joe Frazier, come on, man. And they didn't do a statue, and then they let that man Jim close down. The city should have got involved with that and took over that, man.
Yeah, that I guess they call that regentification. Regentification, I don't know, but they public domain. They just take a block and go right through it and put up a wall, and it's
And
fucked
just
up.
like Louisville, Kentucky. Look at the big museum they got with Ali, man. That's nice. They should have did that for Joe Frazier.
Absolutely. Now let me ask you something. I asked a lot of fighters that come on here. A Mount Rushmore, 4 heads on the Mount Rushmore on the boxers. Who are you going to put on Mount Rushmore?
Wait a minute. I'm trying to understand who's. Say that again,
Okay.
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. The 4 heads, or 4 big heads of stone. You know, Mount Rushmore, it's got George Washington and Lincoln and Theodore Roosevelt. It's in South Dakota. But anyway,
Oh yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about. I think they should have Muhammad Ali out there.
Okay, Muhammad Ali's one.
They got Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, or Rocky Marciano. Who else? There's one more fighter I probably would. Oh, Jack Johnson.
Okay, bro, Jack Johnson. Hey, speaking. Yep. So you got Jack Johnson, Marciano, Muhammad Ali, and Sugar Ray Robinson up there, bro. Hey, you were speaking of Jack Johnson today.
Right. Well, in 2003, when I lost my father, my grandmother, his mother, at the time she was 91 years old. She passed away when she was 99. But I flew her, her daughter, my dad's sister, my Aunt Joyce, and my 2 cousins for my dad's funeral. Flew them to Houston, and we sitting at the table, and my grandmother, we just started talking, and we got on to my grandfather, because my grandfather died when I was almost 2 years. I wasn't even 2 years old yet, and she started telling me that he was a boxer, and she didn't want him fighting it, but he kept boxing, and then his name was Nathaniel Johnson, and he changed his name from Nathaniel to Jack Johnson because he wanted to be like his relative, D. Jack Johnson. And some of the stuff you read out there, it speaks about me being related to Jack Johnson. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna send you a picture. I got a picture of me, my youngest son, Jack Johnson, and my grandfather, who died when I was almost 2. And if you look at that picture, you be like, oh, hell yeah, all these people related. And especially my youngest son, who's 22 now, he's got the same complexion as Jack Johnson. Like my grandfather was probably like a little brighter than me. And yeah, but it's if you see this picture with all 4 of us together, you be like, what the hell?
Well, you know, you're a special fighter, and that blood had to trickle down from somewhere. Because
Yeah,
I've met a lot of human beings, and it takes a special human being to be a fighter, but to become a elite fighter like yourself, bro, you've got that extra gene, you've got that blood, whatever it may be, man. But you got it, man. You got it, Rich.
Yeah, you know, and I went to a couple of the Jack Johnson deals they had in Galveston, Texas, because he's like about 60 miles from Houston, right off on the water, the beach. And I met the young lady who said that she was his only living relative. I'm like, well, how do you know that? Because I was telling her my story, and as you know, said that she was his only living relative. I'm like, well, how do you know that? Because I was telling her my story. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Was that G5 on that mic over there? I kind of missed that one.
No, that sounded like me doing an echo. That was me talking. Yeah.
I was on mute while he was cooking. That wasn't G5.
Yeah. But anyway, and she said, well, anything is possible. I said, yeah, well, when my grandmother told me that she was 91 years old, I don't see a lady, a 90-year-old woman sitting at the table telling her grandson a lie about her husband, her late husband. And but it's in some of the stories you read on me, they mention Jack Johnson.
Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. One more thing I do want to ask you. That middle class fighters that you had in mind. Now I missed a few of the names here, but I'll go back and I'll see. And if anybody called that one, I want to see the middle class fighter who was on your mind, because this is like a mind thing here. I'm gonna guess Darren Van Horn. I can't really think of another one that would stick out in that era. But go ahead. Who do you have?
Oh, you want me to tell you who that person is?
Yeah.
Do the research on Muhammad Ali. His family had a billboard company.
Yeah, his father painted billboards. Yeah.
Yeah. And they did well. That's why when I was, went to his house and met the relatives, the neighbors and stuff, and it made sense to me. Oh yeah. So it was Muhammad Ali came from a middle class family.
Somebody said Muhammad Ali. Somebody said did? Ali. I'll find out who it was. It was earlier in the show.
Okay, find out who that person is. Yeah,
absolutely. Monica, thanks for coming by, sister. Antonio Richardson, salute to you, man. We're talking to a great boxer over here, man. Former 2-time middleweight champion, former light heavyweight champion. And if you weren't here for this show, you missed a good one, man. Reggie Sweet Johnson. This is a guy who's got a lot to say, and he's saying a lot while he's saying it very, very entertaining, very, very good stuff. Reggie, great stuff, man. You want to keep going a little bit?
Oh yeah, keep going. I want to see what my guy right here got to say about boxing. I want to hear his knowledge of boxing. Speak about who's your favorite fighter.
Who's that? G5 or me?
Yeah. No, G5.
G5. Yeah, we know mine already. G5, you still with us, brother?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
G5's a youngster on the game over here, man.
Oh man, favorite fighter.
G5,
man.
Talk a little boxing for us, man. Who your favorite fighter?
Oh man, I'm a fan of the golden era, your era. The 80s. You know what I'm saying? The Four Kings. Those my favorite type of fighters. Whether it be Sugar Ray, you could give me any combination. Sugar Ray, Hagler, Hearns.
I gotta get.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, see, that was right. That was right before me. I was after them. I was right after them.
Well, you grew up off that. You know what I'm saying? You got transcended in going into boxing by watching them.
Right. There you go.
I got to see them. You got to see them live. I had to go, go do my research and catch up with all of them. I wasn't born into 88, so they was already kicking in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. But
I actually do my homework. But yeah, man, I'm a fan of just like boxers who they good in the ring, but I like a boxer with a swagger, and I don't like scary boxers. You know what I'm saying? I like people who test themselves. I'm a fan of the G-Man. I hate how his career ended because that was a monster himself. Sugar Ray, of course. I like old school heavyweights. I'm a fan of just the real sweet science of boxing. So if I can get it, then I'm into it. You know, I love to actually going back in the history and stuff like that, because that's how we got here. You know, and it gives you a better insight on what's going on today. It's no different. You went through it and other people went through it. You know, it's just they just did different masks, different costumes, different players in the game.
I think one of the most underestimated champions of all time is Larry Holmes. I don't think they give that man his just due. That's because he followed behind Muhammad Ali, and he beat Muhammad Ali. But Larry Holmes, man, that guy. I've met Larry Holmes and spent time with him. But you talking about a super nice, smart guy. And I think he dropped out of school in the 7th grade. And this guy, Eastern Pennsylvania, he owned most of it. He owned most of the buildings downtown and all that stuff. But I'm talking about when that bell rung, that guy's probably him following Ali, man, is kind of like, I know that kind of hurt him, but that I think that's one of the best fighters, underestimated fighters of all time, Larry Holmes.
Yeah, Larry was absolutely one of my favorites too.
Yeah, Larry Holmes was a great fighter, man, I'll tell you another great fighter that if he was fighting in this day and time, he would be the probably heavyweight champion of the world. I think he would be the heavyweight champion of the world. That goddamn because I talked to his brother still, the great Jerry Quarry.
Oh.
I used to love Jerry Quarry, man, because that guy there, just think about the era he came in and all them tough fighters he had to fight.
He knocked out Ernie Shavers. I mean, Ernie Shavers was an undefeated killer when he went in there against Quarry.
Yeah.
You know, one of the first fights I saw, when I've been walking this earth for 67 years now, and I drink a lot of water. But one of the first fights I remember when I was a kid is Jerry Quarry and George Chuvalo.
Oh man!
And Jerry was doing a job on George, but George had that cement chin. I don't think he ever went off his feet. Never mind knocked out. But
that's another guy I met too at the Hall of Fame. You talking about a funny guy, good guy from Canada, Chuvalo, man. That's another good guy too, man. I always bring him up too. That was a tough guy too, man. You're right. I don't think he never been knocked down.
I mean, that was LaMotta. That was Randall Tex Cobb. Some of those guys just don't. They just never go off their feet. I mean, maybe at the end of their career, but they have this one thing that no other fighters have, and that's this ability to take that punch. And you don't see too many of those guys around. You ever bump into any of those guys in the gym?
No, but what you call the one you just mentioned, I was just going to tell you when I fought the guy from Korea, I fought him in Idaho, Boise, Idaho. The guy you just mentioned, he fought on the undercard. Tex Cobb, Randy Tex Cobb fought on the undercard. Yeah, and I remember that was Hobble Cosell last fight when he fought with that Larry Holmes. And they fought at the Astrodome. Larry Holmes beat the guy so bad, and Cosell said he'd never do another fight after seeing that beating that Larry Holmes put on it. And dude, he went the distance, didn't he? He didn't quit.
No, he didn't quit. Quit.
Yeah. And that's when Howard Cosell said, "I'll never do another fight again."
and you know what Tex Cobb said? He said, "Give me 2 more rounds."
Yeah, that guy was tough, man. Yeah.
And he was funny too. Oh,
yeah.
I talked to a couple of people that met him before, and they said he's just such a nice guy. He's nuts, but he's a great guy. And
and Randy Tex Cobb, he's from this area. He's from like not too far from Houston. He's from Texas too.
Larry Holmes, though, he was the best of that era.
Yeah.
Never even unified his title.
Yeah.
And he dropped titles. He didn't want the WBC title. They gave him the IBF title. He didn't care about that. He was such a good fighter. He was one of the, like you said, You were rated number 6, and you were the champion, and you had these guys rated above you, and you knew that that's where they belong because some fighters just transcend titles.
Right. That's right. Yeah. I
But
think the 90s was the last great era of boxing, and I think we're making a little progress trying to come back. And then think about what's been added to boxing with the female boxers. As a matter of fact, at the Hall of Fame, they had this one lady. I think she was like 90-something years old. They say she was a fighter too way back in the day. I forgot her name, but this lady was at the Hall of Fame. They had a lot of female fighters at the Hall of Fame, and that lady.
I didn't even recognize some of the women that were inducted in there. I didn't even know the names of some of them.
Oh, you know Christy Martin, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know Christy Martin and Lala Ali, and I mean, oh man, names I forget. But as soon as somebody mentions them, the trainer from Texas,
but Ann Wolf,
I know Ann Wolf, but they had some, and even Holly Holm. I remember Holly Holm.
Lucia Riker.
Yeah. But they had some tricks.
Oh yeah, she wasn't there, but I know Lucille Ranker too. I didn't see her there. I don't think Lucille Ranker. I don't know if she was there or not. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I remember seeing her at the Hall of Fame, but I know her. I met her before.
Well, you know that her and Christy Martin was the one that got into it.
I was there when that happened in LA. Huh?
Wow. Yeah, they got into a fist fight, her and Christy Martin. Wow.
Yeah, I was there. I was telling him about that earlier today, I think. Yeah, I was there. I was at the LA box. That's the gym we used to train at, me and Sugar Shane Mosley and Layla Ali. But yeah, they got into a fist fight. I was there. Yeah, you're right. Lucille Riker. Yeah, I was there when they got into that fight. I was there, man. It was crazy too, man. Yeah.
Man.
And who came out on top? Was it broken up too fast?
Man, it happened so fast. I don't know who came out on top, but I know they got into it, man. They was going at it, man. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
They was going at it.
Yeah, they was going at it, man. People was everywhere, like holding them, and then you know how that go when you get into a fight, and then you have people with you. Then it'd be more than just those two people. People, pushing on each other, trying to, Yeah, it was crazy, man.
Let me ask you one fighter. You mentioned Shane Mosley. Right now, everybody's talking about PEDs in the sport. Everybody's and sometimes Shane Mosley's name comes up. Now, did you see any PEDs back in your day? Did you see any fighters that you thought might be having a little extra boost in their career due to maybe a needle in the ass?
Well, I just told this story. I think yesterday or day before. Somebody, we was talking about the steroids and all that stuff with the fighters, and I remember here in Houston, over by the Galleria, where I once lived, I knew a guy that I went to middle school with. He was a bodybuilder, and I was at his gym training with the weights, doing the weight stuff with him, and some way we got on that subject about the steroids, and then he made me understand this because I didn't know. He said, "Listen, Reggie, all we're on a stage making muscles by doing this here." He said, "Man, but you got to be careful how you do steroids if you're huffing and puffing like running the football and boxing and stuff like that." And this guy, so pretty much what he was telling me, he said, "This is what we do. We do steroids. That's how we get this big like this." And the guy he said, "Listen, Reggie, I can name you 5 fighters that are on steroids. And guess what? Those 5 fighters he named over the years, every one of them name came up and tested a negative with the steroids. Every one of them. And then what really got me when he said Oscar De La Hoya, I said, man, get the hell out of here. Well, Oscar ain't got no big muscles. He said, I can look at his nipples. He said, I can look at his nipples and tell that he's on steroids.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying, man. I worked in a gym with bodybuilders for many years, and they know more about the effects of steroids than a doctor knows now.
Oh, absolutely. Because that's what they do with the body. Come on, man. Them guys, come on, man. Naturally, how your arms going to get that dang big, man? That's you got to have.
Believe me, too, brother. what they're doing in Texas, they're doing in Rhode Island too, and the pipeline is right there. It's not like it's a big thing, especially now that we're getting into the professional athletes doing it. I mean, it's obvious, and it kind of makes the sport just another black eye for boxing. Boxing does not need that, and it just doesn't need that shit in the sport.
Well, you know, I'm working on my first book. It's going to be a picture book, and I won't mention this here. But when I write my actual book, I'm gonna speak the truth. Now, let me tell you this here. Me and Roy Jones, we had a press conference in New York and a couple of other places. The fight was supposed to have been in Vegas. So when I get to New York, I found out that Murad Muhammad, who used to be my promoter, who I sued and took to court, and then he was now with Roy, they changed the fight. How in the hell you gonna have a unified fight in Mississippi, make it leave Las Vegas and put it in Mississippi? That makes no sense at all. So I'm gonna think about this here, man. Why y'all think that they moved the fight from Vegas to Mississippi, a unified fight with all the belts on the line?
Oof.
Think about that. Why would they do that? And now let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm not gonna come straight out and say it, but I'm gonna tell you why. Out of all the world title fights I had, that was the only damn fight I had. When I got back to that dressing room, those guys wasn't there for me to piss in that cup. I'll leave it at that, brother. And that's
it's nothing that's mandated by the WBC or the WBA. It's the state commissions who are responsible for that urine sample.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that, think about that, man. Why would you move a fight from Las Vegas to Mississippi?
Yeah. Very, very, very interesting, and really the only one answer when you think about it.
Yeah. And once again, like I told you, what my guy told me, those 5 people that was on steroids. Hey man, every one of those names came up.
And what year was this? You don't have to mention any names. Just what year?
What year? That was in '99.
99. So that's 23 years ago. And that shit's still in the game today. And it all comes down to pissing in the cup.
That's right.
And you and I know there's so many ways to cheat that from the dick to the cup.
Yeah.
So many ways we can get around that. So what are we going to do? Are we just going to let it go on like it's going on, and let these guys come in here and beat the shit out of these guys that are clean? I mean,
hey, like I tell everybody, a guy can be faster than you. He can be stronger than you. He can be taller than you. His reach arms can be longer than you, and you still can beat him because you can outsmart him. And like with steroids, a guy being stronger, hey man, you still could beat him. But still, that's not right for a guy to be putting something in his system that's gonna make him stronger. You see what I'm saying?
And he could kill his opponent in the ring, potentially. Yeah. I mean, you guys are gladiators, man. You know, people don't come out of that ring like they went in that ring, man. When you got somebody with that chemical advantage, that's no. That can't happen in boxing, man.
Yeah. But it's been happening not only in boxing, in a whole bunch of sports. They didn't caught so many people. Hey, that's just like he's not even in the Hall of Fame yet. And come on, man, this man is not the only one using steroids. What's the guy name? Pete Rose.
Yeah, Pete Rose, Roger Clemens, Pete Rose. I mean, Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds.
They call Barry Bonds too. Did they take it? Did they take that thing away from him?
He never got caught. They only speculated. Sammy, and Mark McGuire, everybody else, they did. They was just blatantly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see, he's linked in there, bro. He's linked in there. So when you mention the name, it's it's just kind of guilt by association to put somebody like me who doesn't really follow baseball. I hear them all lumped into that because it's just so common You know, and like Reggie was saying, that was 23 years ago, and it was common 23 years ago. Damn. And I don't know what you can say about it. It kind of just makes me say, why not just let all these guys take steroids? If you're not going to stop the certain few from taking them, fuck it. Let them all take all they want to take. I don't know what else to say, man.
I guarantee you, Barry Bonds going to his grave with it. Like, they never caught him dirty with no dirty tests. They went took him to trial. They took him to kept getting dismissed.
Even without the steroids, if you took the steroids out of the game, Barry Bonds would still be one of the best guys that ever put a bat in his hands.
Yeah, the steroids just enhanced with the ability that he already had. You know,
and it's sad. It's sad, but it is boxing, and you know, we get a guy here. We get a veteran of the trenches who's telling us some gems of what's really happening out there. So if you're not paying attention, man, Kenneth Johnson, salute to you, my brother. Slide and counter. I think I shouted you out earlier, man. I got such a short-term memory. Con Shawnery, unscripted virtuoso. Thank you so much for coming in here, man. We're having JC, my brother. Salute to you, man. Salute to you, man. I thank all you guys for coming in here, man. We're talking to Reggie Sweet Johnson here, man. And if you don't know who he is, you've been living under a rock, because you guys know on Tuesday night fights, we talk about real boxing, and we're every once in a while I get fortunate enough to have a guest on here that comes on and join us. And I'm not even going to say for an interview, because I didn't have any questions I was going to ask him, man. Reggie just, you know, I talked to him a little bit earlier, and he asked me a couple of questions, and I says, this man's a soulmate of mine, bro. I says, we can just come out here, and man, they're probably going to have to give us the hook to get us out of here. But Reggie, you know, you made a couple of hours fly by like it was 10 minutes on the phone, brother.
You know, when you get to talking boxing, man, like I told you, man, this MMA, that what they call it, the UFC, come on, they'll never surpass boxing, man. Boxing is the oldest sport, started with bare knuckles, and it's just like when you get to talking history. Let me ask you guys this here. Have you guys ever heard of that rap group called the Ghetto Boys?
Oh yeah.
Okay, check this out. Okay, because they had the little Bushwick Bill, the little midget, he passed away, but there's still Scarface and Willie D and I grew up together. A lot of people don't even know this here. Willie D uncle was a great fighter. His uncle grew up in Fifth Ward with my dad, but Melvin Dennis, who I still talk to, he fought Wilfred Benitez. He fought Vito Amafermo. I know he fought like myself. I think he fought in South Africa about 3 times. Man, and he was a great fighter. But let me tell y'all this here about Willie D uncle. Willie D uncle, Melvin, and Willie D late mother were twins. So Willie D uncle and Willie D mother, they were twins. Like I have twin sisters. They was male and female, but they was twins. But check this out. There's another fighter that Melvin fought and knocked out. And if I tell you who this guy was, you guys are gonna go crazy. Guess who Melvin Dennis, Willie D uncle, fought and knocked out in a pro fight?
Floyd Sr.
Who?
Floyd Sr.?
No, he knocked out Roy Jones' daddy.
What damn?
Oh wow.
Hey, all you do is go to boxrec.com, put in Melvin Dennis or put in Roy Jones Sr. and look at the record. You're gonna see where Melvin Dennis knocked him out.
Now that's not the same fighter that Marvin Hagler beat, is it? Because in Box Rec, it's got Marvin Hagler beat. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Billy. No.
Marvin. I think Marvin Hagler did beat. Marvin Hagler beat Melvin Dennis. I think. I mean, I'm sorry. He beat Roy Jones' daddy.
Okay, he beat. Was it Roy Jones' daddy? Somebody told me it wasn't. A historian.
No. Marvin Hagler beat Roy Jones' dad too. But Melvin Dennis knocked out Roy Jones' dad too, senior. I knew his dad too, because when I was there training and fighting, I knew his dad. And then when I found that out,
Melvin Dennis. You know, the name does ring a bell from the boxing mag in the day. but I'll definitely look it up and check that out, man.
Yeah. Hey, somebody reading it. You say 1978? 78?
Yeah, I'm looking right at it.
And
Houston,
that
Texas, 1978.
and that's the year that's the year I started boxing at 12 in 1978.
Wow. Yeah, there were some amazing stories. You know, some say coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences, man. You know, just so many. You know, this it's such a fraternity because, I mean, how many other boxers do you know from Houston or from the area who went on to win world titles and become great fighters? You have any good friends in your notebook there, my brother Reggie?
Well, you know, we got the Charlo brothers, and that's another thing with them two guys who are fighting now, champions now. I remember their dad was in the gym with me. Their dad is a little older than I am, but their dad was in the gym with me. Their dad used to fight. I mean, he didn't win no world titles. Like I said, Melvin Dennis, Termite. You ever heard of Termite Watkins?
Oh yeah.
I've been on Termite. I've been on Termite for a while, and I remember one of the guys in my neighborhood told me, he said, man, oh, you boxing now, little man. They say, you need to go downtown to the gym and check out Termite Watkins and his brother. He said, but pay attention to Termite. He's more of a smarter fighter. They said his brother was more of a slugger. You know, they say his brother would take 5 to get 1 punch in. But his brother, I think, only lost 1 pro fight, and he had like about 40 pro fights. I think he was like 38-1 or something like that, or 36-1. But Termite fought when Ali lost to Larry Holmes, Termite was the co-main event, and he fought what's the fighter name? He fought the guy that was from New York. He's deceased too. His name on the tip of my tongue. It'll come to me, but yeah,
keep going. I'll get it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the guy's name, man. The Termite fought.
All right, I'm gonna have to look it up because it's driving me nuts too. Because I remember that fight.
Yeah. They was the co-main event on the Muhammad Ali Larry Holmes fight. The guy that was from New York, but I think he's really Puerto Rican, but he's from New York.
I get it right up here, man.
Yeah. It's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't say it, man. And I know that guy. He's a good fighter too, but that's who Termite lost to in this world title fight.
Okay, here we go, man. Here we go. This is driving me nuts. Maurice Termite Watkins. Maurice, I got his first name right. Let's see. Yeah. That was 1980, and that would be. Howard Davis Jr.
No, it wasn't Howard Davis Jr. It was it was this guy with a Puerto Rican looking guy. He was real bright, and he lived in New York. His name on the top. Huh?
Ronaldo Snipes?
Not Saul Mambi.
Yeah, hey, that's him right there. Saul Mambi, that's him. Saul Mambi.
One of the oldest titleists.
Saul Mambi.
Saul Mambi was. I think he won a world title at 50 years old, a minor title.
But I know he had. Didn't he do I think he had a pro fight at almost 60, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. He was in that junior welterweight era with Billy Costello, Leroy Haley. I mean, there were so many. They were passing the title around back then.
Yes,
now that you're saying it, and now that I just read it, I remember, man. Termite Watkins and Saul Mambi. He was the Godfather. New York City. He had the 140-pound title several times, man.
Yeah, Saul Mambi. He was a good fighter, man.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. He might. He should be. I don't know.
Yeah, he's another one, man. He definitely should be. For sure,
Saul Mambi. He was a great fighter, man. And man, that's another thing, man. It's just like through the years, all the people that traveled and was around me, boxing related people, It's so many. Man, I'm a picture person, man. I probably got over 75,000 pictures. And when I go through my pictures, man, and look at those pictures, like my last fight out the country when I fought in Italy, I got a picture, got like, I think it was 10, maybe 12 people on it. And all those people are gone except 3 people on that picture that was, that traveled with me.
Man, when you get that book published, you make sure you let me know, man, because we're gonna let people know where to get that, and I damn sure I'm gonna get a copy myself. But
okay,
yeah, I mean, things like that, those are treasures. People don't realize. You don't just open up your drawer and get those, man. That's a lifetime of accumulations. And like you said, 3 people are left out of everybody that was there, and that's the way life is. The older people are going to get, the more they're going to realize that you lose a lot more things than you accumulate, and so you have
absolutely.
you have to really appreciate what you have, and when you have it, man.
Hey, I got this one picture when I was in California, and I fought the dude from Africa and won a Intercontinental belt. That was my first belt, and I remember one day I came to the gym and I brought the belt. And Oscar De La Hoya was 16 years old, and he had my belt around his waist, and one of those boxing guys, one of those magazine guys, put that out there with the picture of him with my belt, and the guy said that he could see the look in Oscar De La Hoya's eyes when he put that belt on. I got that picture. I'll share it with you guys. With De La Hoya got my first belt on.
Wow. Now you get those.
Damn.
Go ahead.
You got to borrow it. You know what I'm saying? Hold this for me, Oscar. You can take a picture in it, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna back Reggie up on that because I was gonna back Reggie up on that because when I met Reggie for the first time, Reggie had a little book satchel with him, and it had 4 or 5 bundles about this thick, full of pictures, man. And I could.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he got pictures with everybody, man. Yeah, all them pictures, man. You got pictures of everybody, man. Ali, man. I seen President Clinton in there.
Yeah,
he got a lot of pictures, man.
That's what we did back in the day, Trick. Now everybody's got out their whole life on something like this.
Yeah. Right.
I got drawers full of them myself. My wife, I think up until maybe 2 years ago, she still used to have a Kodak camera. She'd go get 20 prints and get some more film. But that's the way it was. And guys like Scrapbook Boxing, they have piles and piles of those things. They'll put them together, and like Reggie's going to do, publish them, make a book out of them, share those with other people, because we want to see those pictures, man. If you're willing to share those, there's people out here that are willing to pay money to see those.
I think I got that because it's gonna take time to write the book, and I got that from, once again, my hero in out the ring, Ali. Ali got a couple of picture books that he put out there, and it's not a lot of writing, but he just show the picture and tell the story of that picture, and of course you're gonna put your bio and all that stuff before it, and probably close with something, a little writing, but it's gonna be a picture book. Just telling what's taking place on the picture. And I have a picture. I think I was about 5 or 6 years old. And if you see this picture and you see the way I got my fist balled up and the way I'm standing, you're gonna be like, oh man, you started boxing that young? But I didn't start boxing till 12. But I got a picture with me in a boxing stance at 5 or 6 years old. And we haven't figured out where we're gonna put that picture. We don't know if we're gonna put it on the front or on the back of the book or inside. But that's gonna be a major picture that we're gonna add to that book.
Major, absolutely major thing, man. I mean, I wish I could just share some of those pictures on the screen right now, bro. But I mean, I've had you here for 2 hours. I'm so grateful of that. I want to have you back again, so I don't want to take up your entire evening here, my brother. Man, just that. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to talk. I'm going to get those pictures mailed out to the two people that won them out there. The first guy who got Willie Pep, and then somebody put Ali in there. And man, anything you want to say, Reggie? Because it's been great talking to you, bro. It's like having one of my old friends up here.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you again, and you and your crew for you guys don't even know what you guys are doing for boxing. Y'all keeping it out there. Y'all keep producing platforms like this to still talk about boxing. So you guys are playing a role in boxing, keeping it going. And whenever you want me to come back on, all you got to do is just reach out and have my boy reach out to me, and let's do it. And that's a good idea. I just caught something that you said. I could have sent you. I probably could have sent you like 50 or 100 pictures that you could have been flashing on the back. So next time, I mean, we can do that, man. And me personally, I just want to thank you for sharing your platform with me, and I salute you guys and thank you guys for taking boxing and falling in love with boxing like myself.
Thank you so much, man. God bless you. We'll be talking to you real soon, brother.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Peace out, man. Peace out.
All right, Reggie. I'm hollering, Reggie. Peace, bro.
Okay, buddy. All right, thank you. All right.
Peace. Have a good one, Reggie.
I put Trick Nolte's Cash App up there, man. Trick Nolte's a guy who gets all this together, man. And if you want to help him out, man, just help out the cause, man. Because I don't know what else to say. I never ask anybody for anything, man. I'm just putting it out there. If you think that we're getting quality stuff over here, it's because of Trick Nolte. Trick has a big phone bill. Trick talked to fucking France Botois. Cost him $60 for a phone call, man.
One call, man. One call.
Yeah, I mean, you did tell us that. I was like, damn.
One call, man. Yeah, but I tell you what, man, it was I interviewed him on the phone. You know what I'm saying? That's how I do my stuff. I do my stuff over the phone, and I bring to the platform to y'all. But man, I had a great time talking with him, man. He dropped some stuff in my ear on, sparring sessions with Mike Tyson, and fighters sleeping with other fighters' wives before fights and stuff. And I'm like, wow, man. So, but yeah, one phone call cost me $63. So I said, well, damn, I have to get him on WhatsApp or something, or Messenger. But I mean, it was worth it,
Oh,
but, hey, man, y'all, I'm about to run, man. I gotta run. I gotta
go make the cake, brother. I know it is. Hey, Trick,
man,
my brother. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I'll be talking to you throughout the week, man.
Hey, yeah, no problem. Hey, G5, get up with you, man. Much love to y'all, man. Everybody in the chat, thank y'all for participating. Mr. Pads, man, from on down to Quee, man, on down to Con Shunnery, man. Everybody, y'all have a good night, and peace.
All right, my brother. Just hit me, Trick.
Right.
Salute, my
right,
brother. G5, tell them where they can find you every morning, bro, because I'm there every morning.
You know it, my brother. Man, great show, man. I ain't even want to ask no questions, man. Reggie's just an open damn book. It's not his first time being up here, man, but it's like, I'll just sit back, and that's why I turn my camera off. I start smoking, sit back, kick my feet up, and just, just soak in game and stories. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I had to. Nobody came to see me. Nobody came to see me. I had to hold it down for most of the night. I sent you an email, no doubt about it, tonight, bro. I said, but I sent one to Reggie, and he's standing, and he's going, I didn't get it. I said, Reggie, it's coming right now, and finally he gave me another email address, and it went through to that one. So I don't know what's going on, bro, but I sent you one. I put one in. I sent one to Mad Chad. I sent one to Trick. No, not one. It was like five names on it, like I usually do.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, man, but I dropped it in the chat, and Trick got it in the chat. I guess you got it in the chat, and Chad never came on here. But man, Reggie Johnson, what a cool fucking character, bro. I love that guy, man. He's my favorite boxer of all time. What a fucking guy, man. And I couldn't smoke because I had to do it by myself. I didn't want to be him asking me a question, and I'm like, But now I can. I snuck a couple of them in there, bro. I couldn't do the whole thing straight. Monica, salute, sister.
Yeah, I just turned mine off because I was like, I don't see Bruce Toker. I said, what I did was I went on mute. I cut my camera off like this, and I was over here bombs away.
Bro, he told me he never put a foreign substance in his body in his life. And I'm going to put that fucking Toker in my mouth and start talking to him. It's just one-on-one. I mean, if he had said, I don't have to explain anything, but I mean, I don't break any laws, and it's what I do. But I didn't want to do anything that the great Reggie Johnson didn't want me to do, bro. I mean, I was honored to have him on here. It was he just was dropping some gems on us, man. It was like, wow, what the steroid thing, man. Bro, I mean, that's classic shit, man. I love it.
Right.
I'm thankful that all you cats, and don't forget, man, give me a thumbs up. I don't ask you for any donations whatsoever for myself because, frankly, I don't deserve them. But I would like a thumbs up, a sub if you're not subbed, and share this video, man, because I think this is hilarious. I think it was such a good time. I just enjoyed it, man. Thank you guys all for coming down here. I'm gonna bop out G5. Let me make sure I got everybody that came in here, man, because I got this thing about me. If I don't get a shout out, I'm not giving them a thumbs up. So
everybody in the chat. I see y'all. I just don't want to interrupt nobody.
Go ahead, man.
Shout out to everybody. Sean, everybody in the chat, man. Y'all the real MVPs, man. Dope audience, man. I was reading y'all comments. Great interaction in the chat. Y'all help make the show even doper, man. Because especially like when people come back and they hit the playback, they do see, they do pay attention to the chat to see how people interact. You know what I'm saying? So y'all interaction being so thorough, hey, that means something to help us as content creators. So shout out to y'all in the chat, man. Y'all dope.
Yeah, baby. Give the kid a thumbs up. And I'm gonna get out of here. My bro G5, I don't know where we're going. I don't know where I'm going, but I'll probably see you around if it's anywhere that's cool, bro. Because I know we only hang around in the fucking dope places, man. So I'll be seeing you around, my brother G5.
Oh yeah, all love, my brother Bruce. Well, you'll catch me somewhere.
Man. Peace to you, brother.
Till next week, man.
Absolutely. Hey, man. Once again, thank you all for coming over here, man. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. We had some classic boxing tonight. I got some few jazz things I want to talk about, man. Of course, the fine weed all the time. Tomorrow I'm expecting to go out and get myself a little more because we had a massive, enjoyable holiday. My wife kind of smoked more than she should have, but my man also told me there's some new crops in, and man, I'll tell you, I like a variation in the weed. So I'm gonna leave you on that one, man. Thank you, God. Thank you so much for coming in here, man. Peace. God bless. Later.